Afternoon. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Diamond. Afternoon, Vimal. So I'm just running a quick back test. Just getting the new version set up quickly. Did I save one? Yeah, I did. What do I want to do? Sorry, let me just get this set up. That's all right. That's all right. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. Let's stick that on. See what that does. There we go. That's that. How technical is that? Right. Just closed out a New Zealand dollar CAD. Where are we? New Zealand dollar CAD. So that's just closed out at a loss, that one. I just posted it in the Telegram group. So should have taken off the profit on this one yesterday. It's really annoying trade, this. So we had that push up to... Why is my pen drawing on the wrong screen? Hello, pen. Weird. Yeah, so we had that one there. And obviously then just stopped out on that second entry. So I was hoping this was going to double bottom, but we didn't get the double bottom bounce, unfortunately. So we've broken down on that. So I'll have a look at that for some new entries. Moving forward. Morning, Christian. Afternoon, even. I'm not used to saying afternoon yet. Hi, David. Evil, Luke. Set up the RBA on gold for the 8 a.m. EST opening range. Interested to know how you get on with trying to trade with it on things like gold and stuff that hasn't got an opening flurry, basically. I did a little bit of testing on Forex pairs. How much risk did I put on that? 100, that's right, okay. So that's 300 risk. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm not meant to be trading ORBEA on this account, but we had a losing morning, so I want to get some back. Yes, I did some testing on FX pairs. The problem is, obviously, with FX pairs, there is no open. It moves 24/7. So I had mixed results, but obviously it is a range breakout EA. So you can use it on anything that forms a range. So if you pick 3 candles, that's a range. When it breaks, it will either go or it won't. So in theory, the strategy will work on anything. It's just obviously the idea behind the ORB is we know we're going to get a fast, hard move. Whereas with gold, if you use that as a range, there's nothing to say it's going to not do that for the next hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then suddenly do that. So you can't pick the range. This is the thing. So it'd be interesting how you get on with it. Somebody else in the group, Shola, is going to try and trade news with it tomorrow, which again is something else I've looked at as a potential for it. Obviously, look at today, look at the pound US dollar. So this was the news. I'm short on this with a trailer at the moment with 2 positions. But yeah, I mean, look at that lovely range. Yeah, news came out. Bang. So you can use this, the opening range breakout EA for news trading as well. So all you would do in this case is, when was the news released? 1:15, wasn't it? So that was the news release there, that candle. So what you do is you would say, I want to start from 1 o'clock and use those 3 candles maybe. It's basically the pre-market breakout. There's a set file for the pre-market breakout, and you can do that with the indices as well. So right now, the pre-market breakout is, we've got 1 minute to the open. So the pre-market breakout at the moment is that. It's the 15 minutes before the market goes. So a pending order placed there and there. Same principle with news. Yeah, use the ORBEA, pending order there, pending order there. Bang, look at what you would have got. So there's an argument for using this on news as well. It's something I want to test, and I'm going to live test it probably tomorrow. But the problem with news is it moves so fast, you get slipped. So I'm not sure how slippage will affect it. And obviously we get whipsaws in news as well, which obviously we know from this morning what happens in whipsaws. So difficult to tell, but yeah, it's another option, definitely. So yeah, you can use it anything. I mean, I haven't tested yet. I want to do some news testing. I was tempted to do it today, but I've been so busy, so busy. I lost the entire day yesterday doing live streams. All morning I've been answering support questions on the EA, recoding something that I forgot, and now trying to retest set files. So, which reminds me, that set file's just finished. Perfect. 22k off of 5.6. Previous result on that was 18k off of 7. Woohoo! The new version is even better. Like it. That is 7. There we go. Cool. Right. So I'm just working through these. Basically, the ones that use a stop loss of the old set files, the ones that use a sort of break even, for example, they don't work, obviously, because there's no break even anymore. But the ones that don't use a break even all work fine. And the other new set files that I'm creating or created and tested with, which is all this lot, all work beautifully. So yeah, you're going to lose some set files, but you're also going to gain endless new variations which are going to work with re-entry systems. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, but if everybody keeps moaning at me about wanting the break-even system back in there and the moving average system back in there, I will add them back in. I do what the masses want. But so far, nobody's really actually moaned at me about it or asked for it. So I'm going to get a flurry of DMs now, aren't I? There's not actually that many people that have got it yet. So I'm not expecting it to happen. So just going to quickly watch the open. We've got 3 minutes to this candle closes. Just to cover news while we're waiting for the opening range. We had the figures come out. Wow, why have I got so much news on my screen? We had the figures come out for CPI for the euro. Sorry, I'm on the wrong day. Unemployment all came out positive. Unemployment claims positive, so that's good. So looking at our scorecard, obviously unemployment is, and this is the figure that we'll get on Friday. Unemployment is a good thing. So for the US dollar, that is a good thing. Unemployment numbers have changed for the positive. So that's good. So obviously we've had a rally on the US dollar and it's still going. I've got my pound US dollar trade with a trailing stop running at the moment. I've got 2 on that at the moment. So first entry was there, second entry there. I've got the reason I got the trailer on is we're at 125 ADR, tapping 150 now at support. So I would be inclined to say there's probably limit orders there. If this is a really strong move on the US dollar, the sellers may just steamroller everybody that's got a limit order here and stop the lot out and pop. So we might actually get a very nice pop out of this low. And if we do, we're sitting down on the 72, as you can see at the moment. But this is the support here. Yeah, it's a double bottom. So there will be a lot of liquidity sitting here. So I'd be very surprised if we've got enough selling pressure to steamroller this, especially at 150 ADR. The market's going to be very tired down here. But if we do steamroller that, and we can get a decent rally in, we could get all the way down to another 225 ADR day. Whether it does that without stopping me out on a 25 pip stop, very much doubt. But I'll still have one position live because I'm only trailing one up here. See, let's get that stop. Where's the stop on that? Oh, that's that one. Sorry, yeah. So I'm going to move the second position, which is that one there. I'm not going to move that to break in. I'm going to move that above the high of the 4-hour candle. So that's just reducing risk down to 0.1%. Just in case if this is a false move and we pop straight back up, a la that. Yeah, so it could come straight back up. Either way, it's more than likely going to pull back before it starts its next move down. So it's just how far can we go on this momentum, basically. Okay, so opening ranges are in on the NAS. By the way, any of you that were here this morning, there was somebody in the morning session that was having a problem with the EA and had contacted me before about it, taking trades with 100 lot sizing on a My Forex Funds account. So I've been spending the morning with him testing his set files. I can't replicate the problem. And he's basically reinstalled his MT5 and it's all working fine now. So it was an MT5 issue, but what the hell it was, I've no idea. I've never seen an MT5. So for example, on his platform, it would take a 1.28 short and it would take a 100 lot long. And the EA literally does not have the logic to do this. There is nothing in the EA logic that could possibly say, take a different stop, because this is the same calculation. Yeah, there's only one input for the stop loss percentage, and it's the same on both ends. So there's no physical way the EA was doing it. No idea what it was. But so if you ever experience that with an MT5, and again, this is why I don't use MT5, it's buggy as hell. Yeah, switch to MT4 basically. But yeah, reinstall your terminal. That seems to have fixed it for him. So just in case anybody does have that issue, not that I'm expecting it to rear its head again, because it's a really weird one. It's confusing the hell out of me, because there's literally no logic in the EA that possibly could do it. So just don't get it. Broker scamming on that 100 lot. Yeah. No, it's we spy Forex funds. It's not in their interest to do anything like that. So, and obviously the other thing his point was is this is a My Forex Funds account. We're looking at My Forex Funds now. This is an evaluation of My Forex Funds. I'm trading the same data as he is. He's just using a different platform, obviously. So that sounds like a digits problem. If the stop loss distance is 100 instead of 1,000, it'd open 100 lots rather than 10. Yeah, no, that I agree with, but the problem is it's opening 100 there and it's opening 1.28 here on the same calculation. The EA only has one calculation for stop distance. Yeah. And it's based on that 110%. And there's no way it can store it twice. It can't, it hasn't got the ability to have two stop losses in there. So it's something to do with when it was placing that order. I really don't know. I really don't know. As I say, it's just an impossible situation. But it was the MT5 terminal. You know, everybody that's ever had a problem with any of my products has always been on MT5. And it's not that hard to convert to MT5. You know, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's getting through MT5 validation. I can't list a product that won't work because MT5 validate everything and check it all. So, you know, it's not as if it's a problem there. But anyway, it's fixed. So, yeah. So, news-wise, all positive for the US dollar. Doesn't affect the scorecard today, but we will get the unemployment figures through tomorrow. But obviously, everything on the US dollar is a buy anyway. So, all it's going to do is help the US dollar buy signals. So we'll probably see intraday sentiment shift. So Euro US dollar is currently sitting at 53. So it's pretty biased both ways at the moment. So yeah, same stuff. New Zealand dollar CAD longs, which I've tried, which didn't work out. Oh, that's the point. I need to look at oil. Right, okay. Yes, it has come off the bottom. Right, so oil. I've got a position on oil already, which I took this morning here. It's obviously pushed down in the towards the end of the London session. So I've got my stop below this low here. We've just pulled back down. Looks like we've triggered a load of limit orders. So I'm putting another pending order above that high to add a second position on there. And stop is going to go underneath that low. And I'm going to slightly reduce the risk on that one. Now I've got a new low in. So this is either going to work or it's not. So we're not going to get a reversal alert down here. Obviously the reversal alert will be there. But this is purely, I'm just playing a double bottom bounce. So it's either going to work or it's not. So either that will trigger or it won't. And if it does trigger, obviously the stop's going to be down there. So I'm just going to quickly post that. I've been eyeing oil up while it's been coming down, waiting for it to get to this level to see what the reaction is going to be. Oops, oil trade. Pending order. This number 5 high. Stops below the lows. Oh, I can't type. Yeah. So yeah, so that will either work or it won't. What I'm looking for here is a limit order bounce and then pull back, push, or a little pullback and double bottom or just slightly sweep that low and then push. So just looking for a reversal pattern down here and then push back up into that high. If we can push back up into that high, I'll push this one back to break even basically. But I think it might be a bit early on oil. NASDAQ too short. So this morning I banked obviously this morning on New Zealand dollar. No, not New Zealand dollar CAD, whatever it was. Aussie dollar CAD I banked on this morning. And then I've just lost on New Zealand dollar CAD. And I'm just waiting for pound US dollar to go in the bank. So that's going to transfer over there. So it's going to be about a 3% day at the moment. We'll see what happens, obviously. Other news today. Where the hell's it gone? There. We've had a load of hawkish sentiment coming out of the US, out of the Fed. So the jobless claims came out. And then we had the Fed's George talking, basically. They're going to maintain rates until 2024, which means that the rate we've currently got, which is 4.25, 4.5, sorry, will be maintained, but the initial peak that we were talking about, which we think is going to be 5.25, they're pricing in a higher than 5% peak in 2023. So basically what we were saying before, 5.25 probably. As high as 5.07, obviously we never get that. But it's basically all hawkish, but not as hawkish as before. So we always get you always get to the point where inflation starts to peak and everybody thinks it's peaking, and then as soon as that starts to flatten out, everybody talks about slowing down interest rates, and it's totally normal. It's what we would expect, but until we actually see this coming down, we won't be seeing that. And what normally happens with interest rates is when inflation drops, interest rates plateau until inflation has got down to a level where they are happy for it to curve and bottom out, and that's when they start to tend to do it. So you get this kind of gap. So that makes all sense from what the Fed have said this morning, which is we're going to maintain that 4.5% plus until 2024, which is great. So hawkish, bullish US dollar, basically. Still sitting there on that one. Let's see what the pound US dollar's up to. So that's stalling out now, 150 ADR. So it's very, very, very tired. Right. So ADRs so far today. Let me just get the results of that, do I? The Whipping Post. Good name. Whipping Post. Very impressed with your diligent and thorough project management. You can see a lot of work goes into this, from initial planning, coding and testing, documentation, etc., etc. Yeah. You need anyone to proof your copy. You did a stint in a mag editor. Yeah, no, I don't really need a copy approved. If you want to read my content, then yeah, fine, and tell me if I've done things wrong. But to be honest, I don't care. I just write stuff, and do you know what? It's you will always get somebody pointing out things that go wrong. It's like it's the same old thing, isn't it, with reviews? If something's amazing, you never hear anything about it. If something's bad, you know about it. So whenever I write anything on the website, on a blog, or whether there's a spelling mistake in an input in an EA, I know about it. Trust me. There's always someone out there that's on it. It's never me. I type too fast. Third short on the NAS. So remember this morning I said there's potential for the NASDAQ to come out very hard and strong in one direction or the other today, based on the fact that Amazon have just announced, and they're the 5th largest contributor to the NASDAQ. They just announced they're sacking 17,000 staff. And that will have either a positive or negative effect, because stacking 17,000 staff to streamline will increase share pricing. Sacking 17,000 staff because things aren't going as well as you thought will decrease share pricing. So I was expecting a fairly violent open on the NAS this morning, and it looks this afternoon. It looks like we're getting it. Whether or not that holds or not, don't know. It's only one stock out of 100, but it is weighted in the top 5%, so it does have a big impact on NASDAQ. The trade this morning, as we were talking about just before the open, was the 15-minute pre-market breakout. So that set file would have been absolutely beautiful. You'd been in there, and you'd be in down here at the moment. So you'd be in 3 positions sitting down here. Very nice. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Likely to pull back into the range I would expect. I've got $300 risk on it, so I'm just going to tighten that stop up on the pound US dollar. It's tightening up to 180. We're at 150 ADR now, and we're a hair away from where I think there's a load of limit orders sitting. So what I'm expecting is potentially a big sharp bull candle off the back of that low, or a complete flurry through. Either way, I want to be tight on the stop on it. Right, so let's look at ADRs. So we have another busy day today. This is the week, isn't it? God. We've had ADRs every day this week, and we've had 200 to 225 ADRs pretty much every day this week as well. So it's a busy old week, as you would expect, first week back. So we've got euro pound extended to the upside. So that's another big move on the euro pound. Straight up into resistance. Really good opportunity for a short there. Sentiment euro pound up a bit. The big buy. So yeah, we missed it. Don't want to be getting in short on that, but it is an ADR reversal potentially. Still 125 ADR. So even if the bias is long on it, you can still take a short on that, on the pullback before the next leg up. Personally, I would rather be taking that, which I missed yesterday. But Yeah, that happened right at the end of New York, and I was not around. So yeah, up in the highs, we are coming up to a resistance. So potentially we got a few levels to try and get through there. So should pull back at some point from up here. But I'd rather be looking on the opposite side of that one. Euro US dollar, obviously that's an ADR hit based on US dollar strength. That is a sell, Euro US dollar. I'm on the pound US dollar version. So, whichever one you took, remember I said take either of those. They both worked, which is great. Pound CAD, massively extended to the downside again. Pound is short across the board pretty much. So we got a few neutrals here, pound CAD being one of them. Pound New Zealand, pound US, both big sells. Sentiment on COT is virtually flat on the pound across the board at the moment. There's a little bit of retail sentiment short on Oz and Swiss, but not against the CAD. So up to you on that one. It is an ADR hit to the downside. I'm more bearish on the pound than bullish. So not the best looking trade in the world, I don't think, that one. But we have just broken out the lows. So that's quite a substantial break out of that range. So, look at what happened last time when we did a similar thing. Yeah. Accumulate and just gradually tank. So the Canadian dollar is getting a boost off the back of the US dollar. So the US dollar and the Canadian dollar are quite often linked. When there's news events, the CAD gets dragged with the US dollar because they're big trade partners. So we've got a big move happening on the CAD as well, which obviously is helping out the pound CAD short. But again, it's an opportunity to long, so you could fade it. We've got a big propulsion gap here. I've got that tiny bit there. So, I mean, if that's where's the break there? Yeah, I mean, this is the break. So this is a bigger propulsion gap going in here. As soon as this candle is painted and closed, this is your propulsion gap. So quite possible we're going to fade back up into there before we pop back down again. So there is a potential long there. M5, you're just about to get a reversal alert. Difficult to pick a level on this. There's nothing really that's been respected more than once. So obviously when you're drawing support and resistance in, you ideally want support and resistance on the same line or round about it. So when you push up into something, you want it touched a couple of times and respected a couple of times. This level here wouldn't really take that into account. So this will be the first touch on that. Likely to be limit orders there, which will trigger it. So for me on this one, I would rather wait until 125 ADR if you can get it and take a buy there, because you're going to get some limit orders to help you on the way. But not particularly great trade from a risk reward perspective, is it? So oh, hold on. What else we got? Pound Swiss. That's already come off of ADR. Just about to get a reversal out on that. Big strong push down. So again, pound Swiss, range bound at the moment. There's nothing really exciting about it. So, it's not the strongest trade in the world. It is sideways at the minute. We're coming back down, but you look at where we are right now, and range low, range high. It's more of a long than a short, isn't it? But I'd rather be short in the pound. So market structure's actually bullish on it, potentially. But what I don't like about this is this. Yeah, we sold off hard. We came back up. We sold off hard. We came back up. We sold off hard. The market will get the message and go, well, we don't want to buy it. More likely that is going to happen than push to the highs. So not particularly good. Pound New Zealand, I'm already in that one. So Pound New Zealand, I've got a sell on already. So yeah, it's just sitting there flip-flopping around at the moment. So I like it short, but not going anywhere. So that was an ADR hit off the lows, which is obviously bounced back off. So there was an M5 entry on that one, but I'd rather be taking it the other way. It's just retested as well in that propulsion gap. Again, retest, look, propulsion gap. Yeah. So we've got a W, reversal alert, retesting the propulsion gap, bias stepping in. So accumulation, propulsion, accumulation, retest. But we are also walking straight into that move where we are meeting sellers. So you've basically got a battle going on right now here between sellers at that level, buyers in this propulsion gap. Again, thinking of breakout strategies, opening range breakout. Yeah. You've got a range there. So you could put the EA on now and say, I want you to take a trade from, where are we? In this case, 1550 to, what's this candle? 1555. And then on the next candle, it will draw in the opening range and place your pending orders there. Let it trade it. You can use it for that if you want to. If you spot a decent range built like that, yeah, and you're sitting here thinking this thing's got a pop soon, you can use the EA. You just basically pick the first candle as your open, the candle that we're currently on as the close. Yeah. So that would be your first candle. That would be your second candle. And just stick the EA on, and then it will just suddenly draw the lines on as soon as the candle closes, and it will pending for you. Then you can go off and do something else. No idea if it'll work or not. You have to test it. So yeah, pound New Zealand I'm short already. Pound US I'm short. Still short. Staying short. Hopefully that will just tank and fall out of bed. US dollar Swiss. So US dollar Swiss, we've got an ADR hit to the upside. Obviously, we were looking for longs on the US dollar Swiss. I don't know what that is. That's from some other pair. So yeah, we had this level obviously here that we looked at. I've already got it drawn on. Just trying to put a trend line on top of a trend line. So yeah, we had this level. We pushed back down this morning, and we're off to the upside. So that was the entry today in here. Obviously, if you took it, great. If you didn't, you missed it. But wait for any pullbacks and then get back in long. Sentiment on this one obviously is range bound at the minute. It's a really, really choppy pair, so you can trade it in either direction. But the rest of the US pairs are all bullish. So, and obviously the commitment of traders across the board is bullish on all the US pairs. So they're all you want to be looking for longs on them. And obviously we got the news to help us out today, which is great. Speaking about news, somebody again contacted me in DM and said, because I mentioned this morning in the live room about news and how we want to wait for news to drive price to get our profits. So, when we're sitting here in trades that are going nowhere, we're literally just waiting for news, and news will go for us or against us. And basically what the person was saying was, if you've got a bias like this and you get news coming out negative, yeah. So let's say, for example, we're long the US dollar CAD, and we have news coming out that says it's actually negative for unemployment, and we get it pushing down. What do you do in that situation? Well, if you're position trading, obviously you add another position in. But what you will find is when you get negative news, pound US dollars just hit 150. So we just watch for limits down here. We're just about to hit that limit order. So when you get news going against you, but you've got a massive positive bias on something. So looking at the US dollar CAD as an example, we've got the commitment of traders on our side. That isn't at the moment, but let's say that was a +2, for example, as well. We've got obviously interest rates on our side, GDP, etc., etc. So if everything is on our side, when you get negative news, what tends to happen is the negative news goes like that. Yeah. If you get positive news, it just flies. So when you're looking at taking trades on news, if you've got news coming up on something like that, you've got way more chance of getting that huge run. Because when everybody is long on something, i.e. the big boys that have got all the futures money in the market on the US dollar, when they're long on something and you get a positive news, what they do is they immediately add more to their positions. And what that creates is exactly what we got today with the US dollar yen, these are RSIs. Exactly what we got today with the US dollar. So when you look at something like the pound US dollar, when the news came out, it literally just went vroom. There was no mucking about up here, going up and grabbing stops and then doing that. It just went. Because all that was as soon as that news came out, they were like, yeah, we're right, guys, add more. Because they're doing exactly what you should do. They're in a winning position and they're adding to it. So when you get negative news, if it came out negative, what it probably would have done is something like that and gone back to where it was, because it's already on the way down. Unless the news is massively negative, obviously, and it shifts sentiment, then obviously it goes the other way. But when news comes out positive, that's what we're looking for, is these big, strong moves. So when we're talking about trading the news tomorrow, possibly using the opening range breakout sort of EA or strategy, it really is going to depend on the news, whether or not you get that massive spike or whether you get that whipsaw as to whether it's positive or negative. And you're never going to tell that. You're never going to know it, are you? So it's quite risky, but it's worth a try tomorrow, I think. We've got more US dollar ADRs hit. US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen have both hit now. 125 and 150 on US dollar yen. So big, strong moves on the US dollar still. So NASDAQ, you should be going down. You're going the wrong way. So that's it for for ADRs. Lots of opportunities on the ADRs, but they've kind of all played out, or we're on the right side of them already. So it's all good news. Gold obviously has come down because the US dollar has strengthened. Obviously, this is just another US dollar cross. It's gold against the US dollar, like it is CAD or pound against the US dollar. So we get US dollar strength, we get gold coming down. We looked at this one yesterday. I don't trade it, but I said be more inclined to look for shorts on it. Although, you know, we've got this uptrend, but US dollar, pretty hawkish comments today, and obviously we've got strong unemployment figures. So I'm not quite sure why gold is going up. And again, it's a little bit like oil at the moment. It's just not doing what it says on the tin, is it? So it's not playing ball. Oil's just gone into a range at the moment. Again, could break out either way on that. This is a little bit of an ascending triangle flag. So this will be quite a violent move down if it does break. So we'll see on that one. So that's your ADRs for the day. Would it be beneficial to turn the EA off before news, then restarting after? If you want to. Aussie US has just hit ADR. Euro US has just hit 125. We've got a lot of, there goes oil. We've got a lot of US movement still. This is good. There we go. There's that pop. So that's limit orders being triggered. Remember I said what will happen is we will either get there, the market will be overwhelmed by limit buys here and we will just pop, or we'll just run them over. So it looks like we've just eaten all of those. So if you think about it, let's say, for example, you had a limit order there with a stop really tight, which is what happens in the futures market. basically what they've done is they've just run into those limits, dumped masses of short orders, or long orders in this case, on the US dollar, and just run through the whole lot. So everybody that tried to buy that on a limit is just getting run over, and their stops are triggering, which is adding to the downside momentum. So now what we're looking for is for this candle to basically accumulate before it drops. Otherwise, we're going to find we're just going to pop back up. So we'll see if we can get a run. If we get a run from here, I'm not sure where we're going. Got to go out fairly far to find a new low, haven't you? Looking down there. Doesn't matter, somewhere like that. That's where I would that's what I would class as the proper support resistance area. There is potential for it to come down there, but I would suspect we are probably now going to have a little bit of a rest. We're exhausted on this. It's not unknown for it to go obviously 200 ADR and 300 ADR, but when you get down to 150, you can see the percentage chances. Yeah, we don't get past these levels very often. Although you have to be a little bit careful with ADR first week back, because we've gone through a week of low liquidity and low volume. So obviously the ADR figures are contracted. They're smaller than normal. Pound New Zealand, we're up in the hundreds, multiple hundreds. We're sitting at 170 now. So, the ADRs are lower than normal in a minute. Right, there goes the NAS. So obviously if we're getting continuation strength on the US, we should be getting indexes dropping. So hopefully that's now going to start second leg down. So market structure should hopefully go short from there, but we'll see. Would it be beneficial to send the F? Yeah, sorry, answering your question, I didn't answer it, did I? If you want to, is the answer, but news is good for business. Yeah, what are we doing? What's our job as traders? To make money. How do we make money? Price movement. Why am I in so much profit on this trade? News. So I personally, a lot of people have these news filters in their EAs. My opinion on it, and it's completely the opposite. Why would I want to turn off something just because the market is expected to move 300 ADR? If it's going to go in my direction, I do want to be on that. You are going to get whipsawed on some news events, yeah. So what? You get whipsawed, those ones you lose. The ones you win because of this type of movement, you want to be on them. So I personally don't, the EA is running all the time. All my EAs run all the time because I want to be on the news. It's what makes the market move. And we need the market movement to make money, don't we? So, but I don't know, there's certain strategies. The opening range breakout EA, I would say, I don't know because I haven't tested it, but what a lot of news traders do is what's called a straddle trade. So here they would have done that. So they'll have a pending buy and a pending sell. Just about to stop out on that position. So yeah, they have a pending buy and a pending sell. Sorry, I just got the EA on as well. Yeah, so the problem with straddle trading news is if the news is not a massively strong event like this one was, what you tend to get is that. And we just come back to where we were, which means you get a double-ended stop out. That doesn't work, obviously. But if you want to start an EA after news, when do you turn it back on? When's the move over? You don't know, do you? This move could not be over. This is a pullback. We could now sit here and accumulate at this low where these limits are triggered and then absolutely collapse. So when do you turn your EA back on? And which way are you expecting it to go now? It doesn't really matter, does it? Market's going to go where it's going to go. That is a typical limit order trigger. Yeah, so they just all those limits, profit take off of them, and now we're sitting there and they're going to decide whether or not they go up or down from here. Depends how many sellers we've got on board. Doesn't bode well for the NASDAQ. Oh my God, I'm hedged. Look at that. What a hideous day today is. So basically, I've got shorts on and I'm now hedged because that's just triggered my longs, but it didn't manage to get my stops. So I'm basically hedged in the middle. That's the first time I've seen that. Even in testing, that's the first time I've seen that. Wow, that's a nightmare. So I need to wait for a break to happen. So I'm guaranteed a loss. And obviously I need a win, a decent run on the other side. So what I need from here is a break, either a hard break down, stop out on these longs, which have just triggered, or a hard break up and stop out on the shorts. Either way, it's a $300 loss, and then I need a $300 win, obviously, just to break even. To be honest, today I'll be happy with it the way the morning's gone. It's been fine, obviously, here, but the morning on the ORB wasn't good, was it? As you see, I'm not gonna move now. I'm gonna be locked in at $291 as a loss forever until we break out because I'm hedged. Hedged 3 contracts long, 3 contracts short. I'm in no man's land floating. Anyway, we'll have a look at what happens in that in a minute. So looking at the RSIs, we've got Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. It's still extended on the 4-hour to the upside. Just about. This is going to come out of extension soon. We're up there and we've kind of plateaued a little bit. So we've gone into an accumulation up at the 72 moving average. So hopefully we're just going to get that drop now. But this was an ADR trade that I took yesterday. It was extended on the 4-hour. And obviously we had the ADR hit yesterday on that move there. So that's where I got in at resistance. And we literally haven't gone anywhere today. You can see obviously the Asian session is there. There's your London session. So we've literally gone nowhere today. So I'm hoping we're going to get some movement off the back of New York. And I'm looking just to get out down in this propulsion gap at the moment. So, but that is extended. So from an RSI extension perspective, obviously you can see we're in a massive downtrend on this one. Fundamentals on Aussie New Zealand are massively short still. It's the biggest sell out there at the moment. We've got COT on our side. We've got all fundamentals pointing down for Aussie New Zealand. No retail sentiment, but everything is pointing south. So I'm kind of tempted to try and get a bigger trade out of this. But I'm just a little bit worried about this Aussie dollar, the Australian China coal deal, which potentially could mean a little bit more strength creeping in on the Australian dollar. We have heard nothing more about it apart from the rumours yesterday. But if that happens, we're going to see some strength on the Aussie, and that may well overpower the New Zealand dollar. So I'm kind of tempted to stick the TP down there. And then when we get down to this propulsion gap, move the stop to break even and see if we can get a runner out of it. But otherwise, I'm just going to sit on this one and wait at the moment. This level here is kind of the point of no return. Next resistance and support is there, which is why my stop is there. So if this doesn't hold this level and we push up into here, I will look to add another position on, but I will start to scale out the position if we get above that level. But I like it short, and this is where we want to be getting in. 72 bounce obviously is, and 24.72 bounce is why I use these. They are respected a lot. The daily and the quarterly moving averages, and we are sitting on the quarterly with the entire market on our side. So it should be coming down, but this is trading. Doesn't always work that way, does it? Pound CAD. I'm stuck. I haven't been hedged on a trade for ages. Be interesting to see how this one plays out, isn't it? Pound CAD, we have 4-hour extension to the downside at the moment. Again, this is oil basically depreciating the CAD. We should be seeing this continue to the downside from here. The oil news is looking like we should be getting more upside momentum on oil. Still stuck down there on oil at the moment. That's gone totally flat and dead as well, look. So upward momentum on oil should mean upward momentum on the Canadian dollar, which means downward on the pound CAD. We've got ages to wait. We've got another month to wait until we get any pound news on interest rates. So as far as I'm concerned, this thing should continue to come down. It will probably pull back a little bit. So this is a decent level to start a pullback trade, but you've got to watch this level here. We've been stuck in a range here for quite a while now, going back to kind of just before Christmas. And that's the first breakout we've had. So a pullback, what I would like to see is a pullback into this sort of area and potentially some bearish price action. That would be a good entry short. So dropping down onto M5. Somewhere around that level. And then when we get up to there, take a reversal alert short. That'll be a good entry on that one. But we are very extended on the 4-hour, obviously, to the downside at the moment. But look at what happened last time. You know, this is RSI extension to the downside here. All it did was continue down and then go sideways. So that's obviously because the market is bearish on it. So we didn't get that profit take move at the moment. We got a bit, but you'd have got into this one sort of there. So you would have been in there, you'd have scaled in there, and you'd have scaled out there. So you would have had an out on it, but I prefer it short at the moment. So not really interested in that one. 125 on gold. So that is still pushing US dollar. I really wish that hadn't triggered my orders. Look at that. It actually got me. It literally got me to the tick. See, this is another hindsight thing. If I hadn't used a 15 pip offset and I'd used a 20 pip offset, I wouldn't be in those now. Anyway, let's tank. Right, gold is still coming down. So the other RSI extensions we've got apart from pound CAD, on the hourly we've got CAD yen. I'm really not sure on these yens still at the moment. That's an ADR hit pretty much, isn't it? Okay. 122.1 of 122. That's the spread. Right, so I didn't get alerted on the spread, but anyway, ADR on that. Look at that. That's the reason I didn't trigger on that. The spread hit to the pip. Why is everything hitting to the pip today? I hate it when it does that. So yeah, CAD yen, potential short opportunity there. I'm looking for shorts on the yen pairs. This is still very extended, but I don't really want to short the CAD at the moment. Obviously, it's riding off the back of the US dollar news, so not necessarily the best in the world to be taking, but obviously we are extended on the hourly again, but we've come off the extension from yesterday, look, and pushing up. So that's where I want to see it here. This support resistance is where I'd like to see double top. That's where I'd be interested. So if we can get a 125 to 150 ADR on that today, I would be interested in that. US dollar CAD's just hit ADR as well. Again, still pushing US. We'll be pushing down on the NAS, should be. That's good. Not good. I don't care which way it goes now. Hedged. Oh my God. Pound CAD. Extended to the downside. Obviously, we've looked at this one already. This was extended on the 4-hour. So this is very nicely extended, but obviously you are going counter trend on this. So nothing wrong with counter trend. Obviously, mean reversion, that's what it is. But just be careful. Don't get greedy with it. There's your reversal alert, just gone in on M5. So there's your entry long, stop under the low, target that resistance. So entry would be about a 40 pip stop, 60. So 1.5 to 1 reward. And US dollar. So I've stopped out of that one. I'm still short. Again, not looking to mean revert this at the moment. I want to be short on it. I am. So that's not any good. And US dollar yen. Extended to the upside. Again, looking here. Although I don't really want to get into any US dollar shorts ahead of unemployment tomorrow. So there's something important to pay attention to for tomorrow. Today we've had the non-farm employment change as a positive. We've had unemployment claims as a positive. Tomorrow we've got non-farm employment change and unemployment rate. Very likely we will see these come out as a positive. If less people are claiming, that means less people are unemployed. If less people are unemployed, employment rate should be better. So we should be looking at a 3.8 plus tomorrow, which will be positive US. So don't really want to be getting into any shorts today on US dollar yen or anything US dollar, obviously, because we are expecting to get positive news tomorrow. We've got PMIs as well tomorrow afternoon. The manufacturing PMIs came out as expected. So services PMIs, I wouldn't imagine there's going to be much variance in that either, which again will be positive. News that comes out as expected is positive. So it looks like we might be getting another decent day tomorrow, which obviously means we're going to get another negative day on the indices. But we will see. Obviously, you never know. But we've got CAD as well tomorrow as well. So we'll see what happens. That's all I've got for you today, really, this afternoon. We've looked at everything else. There's no sentiment change, obviously. There is intraday sentiment change. So CAD Swiss want to be shorting. So yeah, the market's long CAD Swiss. Where are we? CAD Swiss. Massively long. The entire world is long CAD Swiss at the moment. Obviously, we've got the move on the CAD off the back of the US, but the market sentiment is 94% long on that. Oil is coming down, obviously, and the market is long on it. So that looks like a nice opportunity for a short. We've just had a reverse alert sweeping yesterday's high, double top yesterday's high. So think about, again, think like a bank. Yeah, there's previous day's high. Yesterday we came up, tapped into that and pushed down. We came up and double topped it and dropped. What did everybody see this morning in Asia? They saw a double top liquidity run. What did everybody do? Go short. What's the market done today? Take them all out. Now we've got the decks cleared. We can go where we want to. Retail sentiment is long. Where's all their stops? Under there. Where's the market likely to head? Down here. Yeah. So think about what you as a retail trader who loses all the time is doing. You are all long. Where are your stops? Where's the market going to go when it needs to hunt liquidity? Yeah. Until that sentiment changes, we will see a drop in CAD Swiss at some point. Obviously, it doesn't work that way all the time, and you can never time it. This is not a timing tool. This is a sentiment tool. This is knowing where the liquidity lies. Same thing for New Zealand dollar CAD, which is why I've been long New Zealand dollar CAD. The entire world is short on New Zealand dollar CAD at the moment. So yesterday, I longed it. Or the day before, I longed it. What did we do? The entire world was short New Zealand dollar CAD. Where's their liquidity? There. The entire world is short New Zealand dollar CAD now. Where's their liquidity? Where's their liquidity? I'm long again. New Zealand dollar CAD now. EA's just got me into that. I need to post that. New Zealand dollar CAD. Just going to post a screenshot of the retail sentiment just so that I know. New Zealand dollar Swiss, where are we? That one. New Zealand dollar CAD rather. So this is my third attempt at getting this started. See? So yeah, so I mean, just think like a bank. Whenever you're seeing these massive numbers, you know, you want to be thinking, right, where are we heading? Whatever they're doing, we need to head in the opposite direction. So if as a retail trader I am short on something, where would I put my stops? And think small time frames for intermediate targets. Think higher time frames for longer term targets. Yeah. Look how much liquidity is sitting there right now. How many people do you think are short? Why do you think that is so massively short on New Zealand dollar CAD at the moment? Everybody is seeing this high not break. There's so much money sitting up there, but it's a hell of a long way away. So, you know, it could take an awful long time to get there. And, you know, as everybody is short on it, they're going to keep getting in short on it because they think it's a short, which is fine. And it might well be, you know, they're not going to get it right every time. This thing could be a short and all the sentiment could be completely wrong on it. Yeah. The market, everything could be wrong on it. We don't know, do we? But obviously you've got to have a reason to get in. So yeah, long again on that one. It's going to sit there and like hedge me all afternoon now. Still in oil. Still can't get that second position on. Look at that, wiki. Everybody's buying up this trend line. But also, they're not letting us up. So ascending wedges basically should break to the upside. That's the theory. Basically what it means is all the sellers are not able to push price down and the buyers are overwhelming the sellers. At some point, these sellers who are short and defending this area with their stops at this level, when we get there, they're going to have to get out of their positions and become buyers, and that will drive the market higher. So that's why ascending wedges work. Again, they never tell you why things work, do they? When you do these courses on everything in trading, they never tell you the mechanics. It's the same, you know, I used the analogy before of driving a car. You can get in and you can drive a car. You push the pedals, you drive the steering wheel, turn the steering wheel, it goes forwards and backwards. Nobody knows why, unless you're a mechanic. Why would you try and drive a chart not knowing how the engine works? Kind of important. So that's the logic. Obviously, wedges don't always work, but that's the logic behind it. Is this is buyers overpowering sellers who are trying to hold a level. Exactly the same as the logic behind a propulsion gap. Doing that is the buyers adding to their position, sellers adding to their positions and defending that level. At the end of the day, it all depends who's got the biggest bank at the end of the day, isn't it? If I've got more money than you, I'm going to win. That's how it works. So if oil pumps, we should get some movement on the CAD as well. I hate being hedged. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to see your P&L never move. And when you're hedged on something, the only outcome from a hedge is a loss. So you're sitting here knowing, it's like sitting here, that James Bond film where he's lying down on the table. I'm going to draw James Bond now. Look. He's lying down on the table, and there's that laser beam that is moving closer and closer to his crutch. That's what you feel like when you're hedged. At some point, this is going to hit me, and it's going to cost me $300. And whether or not it does that or that is either going to cost me another $300 or get my money back. This is why I don't hedge. This is the first time in testing and in live I've ever been hedged, because normally I'm stopped out. This is an incredibly accurate candle. Look at this. If you look at the actual price on this, what we've actually done, this is your opening range. What we've done on this candle is literally take that opening range high and take that opening range low. And we've rejected it twice. So we've put in basically another opening range, which I've not seen before. Normally, when you get here, you're either pushing out and rejecting, or you're pushing out and popping, aren't you? Not entering again. It's a very odd situation. Why not close them both out now? Because I'm going to lose $300. And then you're free to take the next trade in whichever direction the market shows you. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, if let's say we go like that from here, I'm going to lose $300 and I'm going to be in the trade. If I close it here, I'm going to lose $300, and when it gets there, I'm going to be in the trade. And it either way, it's going to go, isn't it? So it doesn't matter whether I close it for 300 here and then get in here. The outcome's the same. Shutting here or taking the stop there is the same outcome. If it takes my stop here, we're breaking and I'm in. The danger of doing what you're saying is that if I the only danger with it is if I close them now and this candle flies down to here, what's going to happen is the candle won't be closed inside there and it won't place those pending orders. If this thing collapses from here, I'm only going to get this one position on. So see what the EA does. That's the point. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I know what it's going to do. I just don't know which way it's going to do it. It's not a very nice session. We've had a really hard session on the indices today. The DAX open was horribly choppy. Can't really see the DAX open on here, but the DAX open this morning was utterly hideous. Literally, we just went chop, 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 and then we decided to break out of the chop and literally limped up to there. So that was your profit potential this morning. It was like 36 pips. It was just awful this morning. Look at it now. Look, they opened on the DAX. The ORB on the DAX made you 57. It's all back to front, isn't it? Totally back to front at the moment. DAX has had more volatility than the NASDAQ. Well, it hasn't actually. It's had pretty much the same, isn't it? Who knows? So just about to get stopped out by the looks of things. I would love to see this tank today, but the trouble is, I think I know the reason why we're having this today, and kind of should have thought about this before. But obviously what we've had is a massive news event, which has driven the US massively strong. We've run out of steam. So there's no liquidity to drive the US any further, which means there's no liquidity to drive the stock market. So I think we've run out of gas. And if that's the case, there's a chance we're going to flip flop, but we'll see. Give it the benefit of the doubt. I am only running small risk on this anyway, so not the end of the world. Oil's pushing. Oh, I tried that. Sellers just got in and hammered the buyers back down again. So there is a lot of selling pressure here at the minute, and we'll see if we can hold this. If we can hold this and crack that high, I think we're off on oil, but we'll see. So I'm in my second position on oil, triggered on that candle. Average is now 74. What I'm going to do, how far is that? I'm just going to trail that by 1,000, by 100 points. So basically, when we get back to my initial entry, I'll be break even stop on that one. Depending on how much profit I've got up there, actually, I might take that off. Oh, no, it's $100. It's not worth it. Okay, NAS. I am out of nearly the longs. Two of the longs. So that is an opening range 3. So the stop loss on that one is down here. Tough day. Euro pound is a good buy at the moment as well. Oh yeah, it's already gone. Again, euro pound, look, 82% of the market of retail is short on it. Today, since it opened, it's done nothing but go long. Because everybody's liquidity after that drop is sitting up there. There's a load up here as well. Last week's high, always a target. So they've just taken these guys out, basically. They've gone. Everybody that shorted it from Tuesday is dead. Everybody took that bounce on Tuesday is dead. So the only liquidity left in the market now from the short side is here, last week's high. So 150 ADR would be a good place to short it. This is a horrible session. Anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at all? Possibility to mitigate your hedge on potential EU pullback before non-farm payroll. No, I'm going to be out of this by, well, I'm out of it now. I haven't got room to get out the hedge. The stops are obviously the opening ranges on this, so I don't know which way it's going to go, do I? So this is the thing. This is the whole premise of the opening range breakout strategy is we don't know the direction. We let the market take us. It's just when you get chop days, you just struggle. Nothing you can do. There are set files that mitigate this, and this is what I was saying this morning. I've got set files that mitigate chop days, and basically what they do is as soon as you get into a trade, they reduce the stops right down fast, so you only get a small loss. But on a chop day, what happens is you get a lot of small losses. So you end up hemorrhaging like $100, $200, $100, $150, and you end up just hemorrhaging money. When it goes, it's fine, but if it doesn't go, it's just literally a whole session of hemorrhaging. So it actually is better if you're going to have a choppy session to have the stops outside the opposite ranges, because what it will do is it will make sure that if it's just going to chop around like this, you're not going to constantly get in and out and in and out. You're going to have like losses at that end, losses at that end. You might have a third round of losses at that end, but that's it. If you try and tighten the stops up too much, you end up getting in and out and in and out and in and out. It just doesn't help the situation. What's up with the FTSE? It's up nearly 1%. Someone said this morning there was some news on the FTSE, but I couldn't see what it was. It's only an ADR hit. It's just an ADR hit. But I didn't see any news on the FTSE this morning as to what it was. This is all this Bank of England news, but there's nothing we didn't know here. PMIs came out as expected, which again is positive. So it's positive pound, which is normally negative stocks, but it's not. There's nothing I could see anyway that said it should be pumping, but it's come straight off of ADR at the minute. All the stock markets are doing the same thing at the moment. We're just not able to gain any traction in either direction. Is it a good place to short the FTSE? ADR hit, RSI extended, yeah? I mean, you're in kind of all-time high territory now. No, not quite actually. I say all-time high since COVID. Oh, hello. Right, so we're at COVID highs. That's COVID highs. Pre-COVID highs there. It's an important level to pay attention to. So this level here is the pre-COVID high before we obviously had the world collapse, which is 150, well, just under 150 ADR. So if you have a look back, every time we've come back up to this level, we can see there that so we had a big rejection in February last year. We came back up, tried again, failed, came back up, sellers took control, came back up, sellers took control, didn't get anywhere near it, made a new low, came back up, rejected, trying again, rejected. It's this pattern playing out again, except this time we are making a new high. That time we made a new low. So yeah, anywhere around here would say is a good level to short from. 4 hour RSI extended, hourly RSI extended, 80. Even if you just get a pullback from the 80 level, it's a good trade, isn't it? Just had the M5 reversal alert. So from a risk perspective, you could, yeah, I mean, you really want your stop, I would say, above that high. So that's the pre-COVID level. We just tapped over the top of it there. But you know, the question is at the moment, which is being asked all over the place, are we in or out of this bear market? If we're out of the bear market, I can't see we are, because we're just getting into a recession. But you know, if we're out of the bear market, that's where it's going. But I can't see us getting out of the recession. So we'll see. God, NASDAQ. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close out that buy. Because I've still got one buy running. Where is it? That one. This is looking more bearish than bullish. It's not looking anything at the moment, is it? But I've only got one long on and I've got 3 shorts. So rather than taking a loss down there of 100, I might as well take a loss of 40 odd and hope we go short this afternoon. If we're going anywhere. I mean, at the moment, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, does it? Yes, I quite like that. Let's see how to play it. So there's one or two things going on here, isn't there? We're either running liquidity from this double top. So everybody got enticed short of that double top. We're running that liquidity. When is that? May. There's no money left anywhere here. You know, there's nothing there to hunt. But there is going to be limit orders here. So people will be, banks will be limit shorting these levels if they have a belief in the bear market continuing, because they will want to be getting in at the highs. So limits will trigger somewhere up here. How quickly they will trigger, though, I mean, this is when you're looking at it on the daily time frame, you're playing the daily time frame. So this is a multi-day, multi-week hold short. So that's the way I would look to play it. You could trade it, obviously, on lower time frame, but what you want to be doing is looking at levels. So this level's already been invalidated there. It's putting back off of ADR. So a stop run on the 4 hour hourly chart is quite often around about half an ADR, which is 35, which is 48. So that could well be running liquidity. It's not far off. So yeah, up to you. You know the rules. Take a short, put a stop. You're either right or you're wrong. Nicely extended, very nicely extended. Last time we were there, we did that, and we did that. But look at what happened in both cases. We didn't go down, we went up. So best case scenario, you're expecting a pullback probably into there or there. So that's the trade for me, would be if I'm going to short it right now on that M5 reversal alert, I would be looking to trade it down to there or Asian lows of the day. that propulsion gap. So it's right now is a nice spot because you're in the. You can either do one or two things. You've missed the reversal alert. So basically, think about what you're playing here. You are playing the retest. You're expecting that. You're expecting the retest arrow to trigger. Yeah. So right now, if you get in, you've got a very small stop. Or you can wait for the retest, which means when you break that low, that's the retest entry. Your stop is wider. But if you want to hold it for longer, obviously, if you are of the opinion that's it, we're coming down from there, then you can hold it. You can obviously just get in and move your stop to break even fairly fast because it's going to come down quick. Can I have a look at gold? I did have a look at gold a minute ago. What do you want to know about gold? I don't trade it, so I don't really have much of an opinion on it. I would be short gold based on US dollar strength. But the US dollar strength is very, very slow at the moment, isn't it? So, as we can see. But we're about to get a reversal alert on the 4 hour. Excuse me. We've had a reversal alert on the Audi today. So, I'll be looking to get short somewhere in here. It depends how, I wouldn't. I don't have any bias on gold apart from the bias I have on the US dollar, and the US dollar I've got a bias long on. So I can only say short on this, on my US dollar bias, but there is no fundamentals really on gold that we can use to our advantage. So I'm reliant on it being pushed around by the US dollar. So I don't know. Go on, NASDAQ. You owe me $250. Oil's thinking about it. It's really struggling. So we're just tapping into this propulsion gap. Well, this is obviously just a propulsion candle. The propulsion gap started there. M15 is clearer. That is your propulsion gap. And then obviously this is the follow through basically. So we are finding sellers here at the moment. Got everything is struggling, isn't it? Everything today is just struggling to get anywhere apart from the US dollar. The US dollar is the only thing that's really had any traction. Oh, we're going at 175. Shouldn't have stopped out on that. Oh, that's a trade. That's why it's not going. Yeah, you go 175 ADR. So it got taken out on that bull candle. So that's the limit order triggers. That's what I was saying about these limit order triggers. So when we saw that flurry, that just flush through, that was everybody that tried to limit order it just getting stopped out down here, and then just grabbing all their orders, and then they just undo the orders and then pop. Off we go. Be interesting to see how far this one can get today. Next support is miles away. There is no support, basically. We're in uncharted territory down here. I suppose you could call that level there. We're back on that 450. I want to see what happens with oil. If this oil gets back in the green, I may close that out. I'll post to the Telegram group if I do. Reason being, we're going to get a pullback into this propulsion gap, and pulling back into this propulsion gap, potentially retesting the actual move, loses me all this profit. Obviously, this is an evaluation account, so I'm keen to get a bit of headway because I'm taking it slow, obviously, but I still want to get a bit closer. So I'm kind of keen to get some profit grabbed, but I'd like to get oil back into profit first. So I'll monitor this lot this afternoon, and obviously the Nasdaq's just bugging the hell out of me. It's not going anywhere, are we? This is like day 4 sideways. Crude inventories in 5 minutes. Oh, good. Thanks for reminding me. Quite right. I did tell everybody that this morning, so I should actually know, shouldn't I? But then again, I wasn't trading oil this morning. That's why I'm paying no attention, because I don't trade oil normally. I'm not really interested. Now I'm interested. So let's watch oil. So I'm now really massively over leveraged ahead of news, but never mind. I'm not massively over leveraged, but we've got 100. So we've got just under half an ADR of leeway. We'll keep that up and we'll watch the NAS. I can see the NAS is going down because my positions are coming back to break even. Just wondering if IG, do they have oil? Yes. Oh, that's not good. I don't gather sentiment on oil at all, but sentiment on oil is long, which isn't good for us, obviously. For me. Where is oil? Where is oil? There we are. Yeah, it's not good. So basically, this is IG's sentiment. This is one of the sources for getting all the data together. But this here that you can see, this opening, this wide mouth opening here, means that in the last 4 hours or so, last 12 hours, that's when all the longs and shorts have gone in. So basically, this is all this is retail money speculatively going long ahead of oil. Look what's happened to oil. Yeah. So market goes long, or rather retail goes long, market does the opposite. Yeah. Everybody buys oil, oil comes down. Everybody sells oil, oil goes up. Everybody buys oil, oil goes down. Everybody sells oil, oil goes up. Everybody's buying oil, oil's going down. Yeah, that's how it works. Look at any instrument. DAX. Everybody's short on the DAX. Everybody in the last couple of days has been shorting the hell out of the DAX. DAX is going up. Euro Swiss. Buying the crap out of it. Coming down. If you want any more evidence of why you should not become a trader, or if anybody says to you, I'm thinking of becoming a trader, go and show them this. This is what's going to happen to you. As soon as you start selling that, it's going to go up. Look at that. Huge selling coming in on the France 40. Flying through the roof. Everybody's selling it. Market's going up. That's why this is here. Yeah, it's very important. Don't pay enough attention to it. So, I suspect we'll get a spike down regardless of what the news is. Hopefully a pump from that much needed news event. Yeah, we'll see. News is out. Let's have a look. Come on, I haven't had the news. Where's the news? I normally get a notification from Financial Juice. No, didn't get it. 1.69. So that's negative oil. I can't see it. 1.7. They're classing that as a nothing. But basically, if there's more inventory, that drives price down. So, but it's only 200,000 barrels out, so it's not dramatic. So we're getting a positive off it at the moment. Too much for a coincidence, Evil. Yeah, yeah. I don't plot sentiment on mine. Obviously, I just look at it because I know this. So it's it's enough to say if the entire world is short on the Swiss yen, you can be pretty confident that the Swiss yen is going to go up at some point. But again, it's not a timing tool. Yeah, gold. There you go. There's some sentiment on gold for you. Flatlined. You can't tell. There's no sentiment either way, buying or selling on gold, so it doesn't give you any hints at all. But what you want to pay attention to is sharp changes. So when you see things moving quick like that, so US dollar CAD, yeah, everybody's gone short US dollar CAD, right, in the last few hours. Why do you think everybody in retail has just gone short? Because they've seen US dollar spike. What does everybody want to do? Mean revert it. There's a steam train. There's a rocket taking off on the US dollar. I know. Let's try and bat it back down again. It doesn't work that way, does it? This is why the RSI is so useful, because we're getting on when it's finishing that. Retail is trying to jump on short all the way up there because they're seeing something go up. It's like an ADR reversal. Yeah, ADR reversal's got maths behind it. Retail have got half a brain. But yeah, look at the US dollar CAD sentiment. Yeah. This is different. See, this is an amalgamation. This is not. This is why my data comes from many sources. This is an amalgamation of lots of traders from different locations. So this is a more balanced view. This is just IG, but IG are the largest, pretty much the largest broker out there. So it's all taken into consideration. Markets just all decided to go long. Struggling in here at the minute. IG won't let you in. You're a US direct resident. Yeah, brokers have become, the US specifically, have become very tight with their regulation. Very tight. There's ways and means around things, but it's just you can get into the IG client sentiment though. If you want to go into view the IG sentiment report, it's dailyfx.com. It's the actual website. DailyFX. This is free to get into. You don't have to be an IG client to get the data. But you don't have to be anybody now. You get it here. It's on my website. So. Okay, so we've taken out that propulsion gap, which is good news. Nasdaq's pushing up slightly again. Move to France, yeah. Move to the UK. You don't want to use IG anyway. IG were the second broker I ever used, because IG do spread betting, and spread betting in the UK is tax free because you're betting. The clue is in the word. So you don't have to pay tax on your gains from trading if you are using spread betting. And spread betting is basically you have a wider spread, and it's a loophole. But if most of your income comes from trading or gambling, the UK taxman in our country anyway looks at you as that is your main income, so you have to pay tax on it. So even if you're a professional gambler and there's no tax on gambling gains, if gambling gains are your main income, like a poker player, you still have to pay tax on it. So there's no way around it. So I started using IG because obviously when I was young and stupid, I thought, oh, this is easy. 5 years later, still making a loss. Well, actually, I was break even by then, but. Right, so gold is looking like we might get this double bottom bounce, which is great. So we'll see where we get to. What I will probably do with this is add another one on here. So I suspect we'll probably do something like that and then move up if we're going north, obviously. So I'll add to it there, which will adjust my average ever so slightly, and then try and get a move on it tomorrow. Because obviously if this double bottom is holding on the previous low, sorry, previous high, and that low where we bounced initially, this is where we're headed at some point. So adding another position on, hopefully we'll get sort of midline there, and I'll be able to start scaling out some of it, but we'll see how we get on. But you're just about to get a reversal alert on M15 on that as well, and obviously the M5. Did we not get one M5? That was yesterday, wasn't it? No, we haven't got one yet. It's there. Because of the speed of that drop, look, there was not one green candle put in, not one batch of orders long in that whole move down. Nasdaq still flip-flopping. Right. I'm going to call it a day there. It's 4 o'clock. There's not anything going on really anywhere. So I'm just going to let the ORBEA run. I don't hold up much hope for any moves this afternoon. We might get something after lunch in New York. But this feels like a Friday to me. We're just not going anywhere. So I think the market is just, like I said, exhausted after that drop, after the US dollar pump. So if that is the case, I think we just basically are going to get flip-floppy price action all afternoon, which you're not really going to be able to trade anything anyway. So I won't look to get into any new positions. I've got obviously Aussie CAD short, Aussie New Zealand short, pound New Zealand short, pound US. I've still got that one on. I've obviously got my 2 on oil now, New Zealand CAD new position, and I've got those Nasdaq scalps on, but I'll be out of those by end of day. So regardless of what happens, the EA closes my positions out at 10:30. So pre-non-farm payroll liquidity roundup. Yeah. Obviously, this was positive news on US as well. So it's just they're just shot. You know, like I said, there's a limited amount. Like I said, I keep saying I've been doing the live room for over 2 years now. in various shapes and forms. And I keep, I've said everything many times, but like I've said before, the market has only got a certain amount of liquidity it can play with in a day. And this is partly what ADR measures. So when you get these big moves down to here, they haven't got any money left to play with. They're out. They're done. Yeah. They were short. They have moved short. They are taking profits down here and they haven't got anything else to do. There's nothing they can do. They're out of cash. And there's a certain amount of transactions you can process through the interbank system before there's nobody on the other side that wants to take your orders. So, you just run out of cash. And this is why I think we're seeing a flip-flop this afternoon on the NASDAQ, because they've done it all. But yeah. Okay, I'll leave it there. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. I'm trying to get these set files together, but I'm just doing 2 live rooms a day now. I actually haven't got any time to do anything. So I will now answer the multiple Telegram DMs I can see have popped up, and be back tomorrow morning, same time, 7:50, and we'll see if we can get a better DAX session tomorrow. And then obviously it's non-farm payroll tomorrow, so we'll have a lively afternoon, and quite possibly a quiet morning, which we tend to get on non-farm payroll days. So DAX, I'm going to possibly reduce risk on tomorrow morning because we might have a bit of a flat one. But what I'm going to do tomorrow, instead of doing the 220 live room for the open, I'm going to come on for this, and we'll have a look at potentially using the opening range breakout EA to try and do some news trading tomorrow. So I'm going to bring the session forward until 1:20 instead of 2:20. So I'll be on an hour earlier. Depending on what happens in this, I may well still be on at 2:20. But if we get a massive amount of movement off of this, you're probably going to find the same thing as today. We'll have done our moves, and the stock market open will be really quiet. So yeah, I'll reschedule this for 1:20 tomorrow, and we'll come on a little bit earlier and trade that live, see what happens. But at the moment, it ain't moving. So I'll post in the Telegram group if I close anything out. The only thing I'm looking at closing at the moment, obviously, is pound US dollar. Oil's back in profit. There we go. So nice moves on oil. We're just about to get a reverse alert on the 5-minute chart and 15. So let's see if we can get that pump. So I will be getting another one. I'll post this in the group as well, that I'm just about to add a third on. Okay, so anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. Have a good one.